Throw the slack, you fucking moron!
Hello? Who's there? Oh, okay. Well, welcome to Screen Share, a movie podcast about going to a Jewish camp for the summer. My name's called Amos Wood.
And I'm Adam Cook. I didn't catch on to that.
That it was Jewish camp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole time. Wow.
Yeah. And this episode is about Wet Hot American Summer. If you just clicked on here, you didn't read the title, or maybe you thought that Adam slammed his head on the keyboard. That's the movie we're covering this week as part of our comedy month. Comedy August. Everyone knows August is the funniest month.
It's true.
I'm just going to slide this window closed.
There's a little doggy out there. He's been barking all day.
He is not little. He's a menace.
He's barking mad.
We have heard another neighbor say, "Shut your fucking dog up."
Really?
Yeah, because I think it was like at night.
I was thinking today because he was like barking basically all day.
They just kind of let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just assumed no one was home to make him be quiet, but I guess they just don't care.
Yep. Wet Hot American Summer. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess it is kind of related to the month of August. We're halfway through August. That's kind of when summer camps are winding down.
True.
Summer's ending. You're coming up back to school, which is scary.
True.
Say it again. This is probably the biggest cult classic that we've done on this podcast.
The biggest cult classic or the most like cult classic?
I think the biggest cult classic. I think there are other movies that we've done that have potential to be cult classics. Shiva Baby comes to mind.
Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, but that also made like $400 million at the box office. So
yeah.
But I think this is like the most bona fide cult classic. Yeah. Unless I'm forgetting something. But like,
I mean, I'd say Big Lebowski is a bit of a cult classic as well.
I think it was for a while.
Well, now it's just a classic.
Yeah. And it's also got kind of one of those fan bases that's kind of annoying.
Big Lebowski does?
Yeah. Like, it's not our generation, but like a generation before us that are very into like the dudism thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of annoying. But this movie is like very strange. It's kind of a between generations movie. Came out in 2001. At the beginning of 2001. Has a crazy big cast, cost just under $2 million, made I think $200,000.
Oof.
And then went on to home video and was like big home video in the like early 2000s, mid 2000s for like, I guess it was like Gen X people, late millennials going through college at that time.
Honestly, I don't think that really happens much anymore because people don't really have home video.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of happens for TV shows instead because of streaming, where like
I could see that. Yeah, that makes
like
sense.
that happened with Breaking Bad, where like it wasn't until like halfway through season 3 it went on Netflix, and all of a sudden everyone's like, this show, you know?
Why did I put it into my mouth when I burped?
Nice. But yeah, it doesn't really happen much with movies anymore, where they like gain a lot of popularity post theatrical release.
Well, it's happened a couple times. Booksmart, I think, is a good example.
Okay.
Where like that has sort of become a big movie for people our age, and I think is becoming more and more of that. But it's not quite the same, because another thing that, and I guess we're kind of just jumping right into this. We're like 6 minutes and I think we're deep into it, and I think we're probably going to be done in another 5 minutes.
Sounds good.
Another big thing with this movie is like, since it came out on DVD, there were special features. And
that probably helped a lot of people's enjoyment.
Yeah, because then you can listen to the comedy tracks, which is like all of these funny young performers who were like doing improv or like just like funny people. Like Amy Poehler was in she was part of the UCB thing, and like a lot of these people were improv performers.
Yeah.
So like they do a director's commentary that's pretty good, but there was also a fart track for this movie where they just like added in a bunch of farts, and like that's just another version you can watch.
I like that. Which I honestly kind of wish we watched that version.
Couldn't find it.
That's fine.
I would have tried to.
What, to see if I notice? Like, there's a lot of fucking farts in this movie.
I like pop it up and the little title at the bottom pops up and it's like Wet Hot American Summer in brackets fart version, and you're like, what?
Kind of on the point there of like it kind of having special features really boosting people's opinions of the movie. That like me, without knowing that until you said it, for my overall thoughts of the movie in my notes, I wrote that like knowing that, or like I think a lot of the enjoyment of the movie comes from knowing that it's just a bunch of people making a goofy movie for fun and like just having a blast making it, and that like makes it so much more enjoyable. So that makes sense. Two
things. Number one, imagine going back to our earlier point. I'm waking up, I feel it in my bones. Imagine you're in like a dorm room in like your first or second year. You know, baked out of your mind.
Okay. Sure.
And one of your friends like puts this on.
Yeah.
And there's just like so many weird genre parodies. There's so many like weird little moments and like characters that don't make sense. Yeah. And like dumb little throwaway bits, like the guys getting out of the truck and then putting their heads on the wall and like.
Yeah. Which is the like, one thing I'd seen from this movie was them standing with their faces to the wall.
Like, I think that's why this movie kind of became a cult classic. Because like just a bunch of people saw it in college when like early in the 2000s, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, you're watching it at like 2 a.m. and it's like the most psychotic movie you could watch.
Honestly, not that this is like a bad film, like The Room is a bad film, but it's almost like a similar type of enjoyment, except with The Room, it's like, this is funny because it was trying to be good and it's bad. So that makes it funny. Whereas this, I feel like, is like,
it's closer to a parody. It's just a bunch of
people being dumb, like doing dumb jokes. Like, like the standing against the wall bit, I just know that someone suggested that on the day of filming, and everyone thought it was so funny because it was so dumb. So they did it, and like, it's dumb. So that's what makes it funny. It's like,
there's a lot of things where it's like how people leave scenes is just stupid. Like the one kid runs deep into the forest. The one guy walks to the end of the dock and flat falls into the water. They walk away and put their heads on the thing. They'll like run away flailing for no reason.
Most of the humor comes from just like, why are they doing that? Like him running and seeing a hay bale in the road and being like, oh no, what do I do?
And it's like an action movie chase parody, and you're like, and it's like pretty decent.
And like, I forget his name. Is it Joe
Lutriglio, I think.
Yeah. Guy from not from Breaking Bad, from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes, sir.
But the first time they showed him on the bike and it was very clearly not him, I was like, I mean, I get they're not going to go out of their way to make it not look like him. I get it. But then later, they like made it so abundantly clear that
where
they
the guy
knew.
Like slowly pulls the bike up, and he's like got 6 more inches of hair and like,
and he's
40
like way
pounds
more
on
like
him.
Muscular. It has a different shaped head. Like,
and then it goes to Janine Garofalo, and then she's like, "What? Where were you?" And then it cuts back, and then it's him.
Which they also did with the like, can you meet me at the picnic table in 10 seconds? They pan away, pan back, and there's a bunch of shit there now. It's like, the first time with the motorcycle thing, I was like, oh, they're not afraid of height. Like, they're not trying to hide it. The second time I was like, oh, they're like very aware of it, and like they're making it the joke.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a lot of the movie. I feel like this movie would be better on repeat watches. It was my first time watching it. I feel like it would be better on repeat watches, kind of just like now going in understanding that it's just stupid. Because
Yeah.
going in, I didn't know what the movie was about at all.
So what did you think? We haven't really gotten to that part yet.
I thought it was good. I thought it was funny. I think that there's a certain level of enjoyment that I can't quite get from the film because of how stupid it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like where it's like, I don't know. I can't really relate to or care about any of the characters. So I kind of just have to accept that like they're all like one of the first notes I took was like every character is either stupid, a bad person, or just completely pathetic. And like if you accept that, it's a little bit better, but it is a little tough not to really have someone to root for. Because even...
But what about Coop?
Well, that's the thing about Coop is like, he doesn't get anything, though. The whole thing that he's like chasing the whole movie is to be with Katie, and then isn't.
The thing with this movie is there's like no real like plot. There's no real like drive to do anything. They kind of shoehorn the like spaceship thing in there.
Yeah.
But like there's so many different plot lines and so many different things that are happening where each character kind of has their own thing they're doing,
well,
but
and
it's
none
not
of them
really
are like
urgent.
woven together.
Yeah.
It's like all of them exist like the one counselor who's like dealing with her ex-husband.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the kid.
Gail and
the kid.
The art kid.
Who she falls in love with.
Well, they're getting married.
They're getting married with a
Next
25-year age gap or something.
Next week.
But
she's 34.
Okay.
And what is he, 12?
Yeah.
Love has no bounds.
But like the thing with that is you remove that from the movie entirely, it's no different. It doesn't change anything. And you could say that about most of the plots.
Yeah.
Like the cook who talks to the can of vegetables.
Gene.
Love it. You remove it, doesn't change the movie.
Nice little crop on him.
Yeah. Because they kind of just use like... Because the whole movie takes place in the span of a day of 24 hours, except for maybe the outro.
Like the end is the next day.
Yeah. But like they use the time stamps throughout the day to kind of like structure the movie. But you take those away and like it's kind of just like individual scenes.
It's just
disconnected
like bits.
from everything. Yeah, it's just like a series of bits that they tied together.
Yeah.
Which like I guess that's like if you go to a summer camp, not everybody's activities in the day are going to be woven together. Like everyone's doing their own thing. So I guess it makes sense. But as far as the structure of a movie, it does make it a little bit hard to like...
There's no real like... Yeah. There's no real like, oh, sorry, you know, I just had you do you.
Yeah.
There's no real like narrative. There's no themes that they're trying to get across.
Except for be yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you want to hump a fridge.
Like, even then, it's like, also don't though. Because like, maybe she still won't love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's okay because I think there's a pretty good amount of bits. It doesn't stay in any one thing for too long. It's not like it's a bad bit the whole time.
No.
Like there are some comedy movies like A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Sure.
Or like
never
Sherlock
seen it.
and Watts or Holmes and Watson
Sure,
or whatever.
Never seen it.
Where it's like they've picked a bad bit to keep doing.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is
I
like-
feel like most modern comedies, especially, it's like they have one where they're like, we're going to keep doing this one. And you're like...
But even then, it's like the bit of like Sherlock Holmes and John Watson. That's the pitch. But it's Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
Or like Seth MacFarlane in the Wild West. Imagine what he could do.
Yeah.
With this, it's like, it's a summer camp. There's like 100 characters. If you're not liking the thing you're seeing right now, in 30 seconds, it's going to be something else and you're
Yeah.
going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know? That being said, let's get into the production of this movie because it's a little iconic, I should say. So the movie, as you could tell Cost under $2 million, because I told you that earlier. That's how you could tell that.
Yep.
So a real indie production. Shot for 28 days. Apparently it rained every single day that they were shooting, and there's a documentary about them making it. Where like they had to shield people from the rain. Sorry, while they were doing their takes. They had to like move some stuff inside or like do close-ups, and like you can kind of see the rain through the window sometimes if you look hard. So it made it a real nightmare. And then they're also like working with a bunch of pretty inexperienced people, because this was before like Amy Poehler was on,
children
and a lot of children. But it was before Amy Poehler was on SNL, so it's not like she's big. This is Bradley Cooper's literal first movie. I think it's one of Elizabeth Banks' first movie. Paul Rudd was in Clueless, I think, but Clueless just like came out before this. It's not like he did Clueless before. I that's what I like have surmised, because it wouldn't make sense for him to do Clueless, where he's like got a big role and really good in it, and then to do like a smaller movie like this. Because Clueless is a pretty big movie, and it was like pretty fucking huge.
So he probably started shooting this before that came out, but after he'd...
Or he shot this, and this just took longer to
maybe
come out. Let me look up when Clueless came out. But like, what I'm trying to say is all these people are like not huge stars.
They're
Janine Garofalo
newbies.
is pretty big, but like, I don't know, she's not huge. So you're just kind of, it's like, from what I gathered, it was basically like they were at a summer camp when they were shooting this, because they would eat in the dining hall and they would sleep in the bunks, and they were at the summer camp for 28 days, and it poured rain the whole time and it was cold.
I mean, I kind of like that. Gets them in the vibe, gets them in the mood, gets them in the experience, gets them in the mindset, gets them in the headspace.
Keep going.
Gets them in the...
Oh, Clueless came out. Wait, he was in Clueless? What the fuck? Oh, wait, no, I'm lying. I'm lying about Paul Rudd's career. Because I got it confused with someone else. Because I don't have a very good brain anymore. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Just been hitting my head on a lot of stuff.
Really?
On purpose, mostly on purpose, but...
Dude, when I was packing up my microphone to bring for this weekend to record these episodes, I banged my head on my desk getting up, and like I was like kind of frantically getting ready to leave because I was running a bit late, and I hit my head on it, and like out loud alone in my apartment I was like, yeah, because fucking another thing's gotta go fucking wrong today. It's like, okay, calm
Let's
down,
go.
buddy, it's fine.
And then you were almost late for your train, but you weren't, so something went right.
Yeah, I made up 3 minutes on my walk.
So I'm a liar. Clueless, he was in Romeo and Juliet and then Clueless, and he was also in a Halloween movie. And
Wait, he was in Romeo and Juliet, like the Leo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not remember that.
He was in like a Great Gatsby thing, and then he was in Wet Hot American Summer in 2001. And then was like kind of not really in anything for a while. And then he was in Friends for a while, and then he was in Anchorman.
Ah.
Yeah. Because I think he kind of like breaks out in Anchorman.
Yeah.
But he's really good in this movie, even though his character's like very one note, but also he's very one note because he's playing a teenage boy.
Yeah, I expected like a little bit of character development, not just from him, but from literally anybody. And I don't think anybody gets it. I think honestly, the only person who develops as a character is the counselor who's dealing with her ex-husband.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
fallout.
I think Gail.
Because she gets over it, but then they kind of like undercut that by making her get in a relationship with a child. So like, but like Katie doesn't develop at all. Even when you think she does, all of a sudden she doesn't. Paul Rudd doesn't develop at all because he's still a piece of shit at the end.
McKinley gets married.
Yeah, I guess McKinley and Bradley Cooper.
McKinley and Ben.
They're the only ones that are kind of at a different place at the end than at the beginning, and I think in a better place.
Yeah, you know, they're lovers.
Yeah.
What about Victor? He's the guy with the very curly hair who left the people at the river.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brooklyn
He's
Nine-Nine
fucking-
guy.
No.
Oh.
The one that likes to fuck.
Oh, right, that guy. Completely forgot about him.
How did you forget about him?
Because he's gone for about 40 minutes in the
that's
middle of the
true.
movie.
I feel like there was a scene of him like trekking through the woods.
There must have been.
That they cut out.
Because he's one of, I'd say that like top 3 main characters of the first like 25 minutes of the film.
And then he's gone.
He disappears. And then comes
which
back
kind of
for the end.
sucks.
Yeah.
But if you do want more of these characters, they made 2 TV shows for Netflix.
Really? Were they
One-
good?
I watched one of them. Which one did I watch? I think it was First Day of Camp, because that one came out first, and I think I watched the first one that came out. So that was actually the first thing I saw about Wet Hot American Summer.
Okay.
And it's all the same actors, but they're playing themselves on the first day of camp, obviously. And then there's also another show that's them, but the 10 years after thing.
Oh, when they reunite.
Yeah. And I think the first day of camp one's pretty good. It's also got that bit of a like surreal twist at the end, where
Okay.
like this one it's a space station crashing down, and that one it's like some sort of chemical spill, but it also like kind of doesn't matter.
Okay.
I think the vegetable can is a lot more in that. And I don't know how much Bradley Cooper's in it. But we should talk about Bradley Cooper a little bit, because this is like a very strange first role for where he is now,
Yeah.
where he's like playing a gay theater camp counselor.
I think he does kind of well at it, but I honestly don't think he has more than like 15 words to say in the
know.
movie. Most of his performance is just like
It's just like
standing and moving
and like
yeah.
nodding really aggressively and like
Yeah.
being supportive. Because if you watch, because I like literally just watched this and then we watched it together. If you watch him when Amy Poehler's like doing her rage shit, he's like very like into like making the kids feel good, like he's
Yeah.
doing stuff, but you're not looking at him.
Well, yeah, when they're doing like the rehearsal for the talent show and Amy Poehler's screaming at these kids saying that they're garbage, basically, like then they all huddle and Bradley Cooper like looks like an actual camp counselor that's like, all right, guys, don't worry, like you
It's
got
okay,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's really good in it. I do think that like if I didn't know who Bradley Cooper was now when I watched this movie, I wouldn't really think about his role very much, because he's not really doing much.
Yeah,
It's
because that's
good.
kind of what you get with like the curly guy who's like getting harassed by Gene.
Yeah.
Where like you don't really know who he is. He's good in the movie, but like he doesn't really do a whole lot.
They're tertiary characters.
Yeah, but like because he's Bradley Cooper, you're like, whoa. And like Elizabeth Banks too, like doesn't really do much. But it's Elizabeth Banks, and you like recognize her while you're watching it.
Her role in the movie is just like be the one that the guys talk about being hot, honestly.
Which like makes
and has
sense.
barbecue sauce on her mouth.
That's true. And then kisses a girl.
Uh-oh.
So there's a lot of bits in the movie. I think we'll just kind of like get into it. What bits did you like the best? We'll start with that.
I mean, I think my favorite bit is just like a character, which is the chef.
You like Gene?
I like Gene. Especially, I really like his dynamic with the other guy, where he's just like constantly being way too much, and the other guy's just like,
The vlog brother?
yeah, sure. I don't think he looks anything
He
like
looks
John or
exactly like
Green.
Hank Green.
I think he looks nothing like Hank Green, but but like I like that dynamic, that he's just like truly like he's not afraid of him. He's just like, you're being weird and saying strange things.
Yeah, when it says he's got his dick cream, he's like, what did you say? You know?
Yeah.
That's such a good joke.
I
Oh my
do think
God.
that like I thought his speech was good in the cafeteria, but I did think them rolling out the fridge and him humping it in front of a bunch of kids was like, all right. I do like that then he kind of turns into like this weird mentor role for Coop later.
Yeah, because he has some real character growth. Whereas like
Yeah, I guess he's one of the few characters that actually grows a bit.
he becomes more sure of himself.
Yeah.
What bit did I like? What bit did I like?
Good question. I think you liked the one where the woman got with the child.
I think I like a lot of the Paul Rudd stuff where he's like throwing kids into the side of the road when they see him kill another kid. I think that's just funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah, multiple kids just like actually die in the movie
and then get stranded.
Yeah. Like one kid for sure drowns.
Yeah. And then one kid, well, I think the other kid drowns too, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he falls off the jet skis.
Yeah.
I really like the plot with, I forget what the character's name is. Let me see if I can fucking find it. Victor. Yeah, I literally just said his name, Victor. Where it's like, I really like the setup of that plot, but I really feel like there's something missing in the middle. Because he's also got all those cuts at the end and like he's bloodied.
Yeah, it's like, oh, very clearly he went through something that we didn't see.
Yeah, especially since he's
back.
like,
you have no idea what I went through to get here. And it's like, truly, we have no idea what you went through to get here.
But I also like when they go back and he's like going to save the kids and Joe Lutriglio is just like watching him and he's like, whoa, like, Victor. Whoa,
you're saving him. Whoa, you're doing
so
it.
Good. Oh, look at that. Wow, man. Wow, you did it. You saved them.
And then he's all of a sudden looks pristine and he has no cuts or
and the kids are like
hair.
filing out of the river.
Yeah.
I love that he's singing and then he just crashes a car straight into a tree on the side of the road.
Nothing to cause it.
And then he outruns the motorcycle that seems to be going slow because the bunny just like slowly hops across the screen.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out like what that was trying to represent, and I guess it's just being like not a fast chase.
Yeah. And I did like they did a couple shots that like you could just clearly tell that he was like
on a treadmill or something.
He was just standing on a platform that was like attached to like the same thing that the motorcycle was attached, like some sort of weird contraption where he's just moving his arms to look like he's running, and then it pans over to him on the motorcycle.
Neil.
But then it does a hard cut, and all of a sudden the motorcycle's like way further behind him than before.
And then they do like the motorcycle stops at the hay bale, and they do that like action movie shot that like Will Smith has gotten in every single one of his movies, where he's like looking up at the sky. And he's like,
he got me. He got away.
Yeah.
That son of a gun.
I like a lot of the Gene stuff too. And I think JJ's a bit better in the shows. Do you know which one JJ is?
He was the long hair guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought his character was like pretty funny, especially at the talent show when he's busting a gut laughing at, what's the guy's name?
I don't know what the
weird host of the talent show who's like,
yeah,
I'm so old, I'm from the Stone Age. Oh, just kidding, the Ice Age. Nah, I'm kidding, from the Stone Age. It's just like, I remember when people used to say sticks and stones may break my bones, and they meant it. Or like whatever, and they're like, ah!
Yeah.
Anyway.
We have fun. What do you think about, well, okay, let's back up a little bit. I don't want to get too over my skis, so to speak. Too far over my skis, so to speak. The director of this movie also directed a movie called Role Models. Have I made you watch that one?
No.
I don't know. There's Role Models and then there's another one. One of them is Christopher Mintz-Plasse, I think. And then one of them, oh, maybe this is the same movie. Yeah, this is the same movie. I thought this one movie was two movies. It's got Paul Rudd, Sean William Scott, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and some little kid in it.
Nice.
And they're like, it's like kind of a strange movie. You can take a look at it. Where it's like, I remember, like, I think I've seen this movie like 5 times, but I've never been able to figure out what it's about, really. And it did fine. It's an okay movie, but it seems like this director's career is mostly in TV because he's done a lot of like an episode of this and an episode of that, or like this TV special or like this TV movie.
Yeah.
And then I think he did both of the Wet Hot American Summer shows, which I think were pretty well received. So I don't know. What did you think of the movie? Like, I think the writing's not great. It's clearly written by a bunch of like
improvers. Yeah.
I think Michael Showalter, who played Coop and also wrote has one of the co-writing credits on the movie, was an improv guy and then kind of moved into TV and stuff after this. But like, I don't know. I think the script's kind of like weak. Like,
I mean, the structure of the movie is like bad. I think most of the fun, like I said, comes from knowing that it's just like a bunch of people making something and having a goofy time, and then also from just a bunch of really good performances by a bunch of people who are really great at improv, because like I'm assuming a lot of the movie is improvised.
Yeah, like I'm sure they had like, this is what this scene's gonna be and this is what this scene's gonna be and like this bit. But once they probably started shooting, it was like, I'm going to try and make it a little funnier. Like, Bradley Cooper's going to pick up the clipboard while Amy Poehler's like getting angry about having to put this guy in the talent show.
Who has wind powers.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell whether he had wind powers and that caused the space thing to move. Or if he just put his hands out and it happened to coincide with
I think
the
he's
space
magical.
thing. You think he's magic?
There is some mystic stuff that happens in this franchise.
Fair.
What do you think about the kissing? I think it's like an all-time movie for like hot kissing.
I don't know about hot kissing, but certainly wet kissing.
Yeah, Wet Hot American Summer.
Wet kissing.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Wet.
Do you get it? He shook his head.
I nodded my head. You're trying to. Oh man.
This is an auditory medium. You have to be auditorily inclined.
You've done the most visual bits out of anyone who's ever been on a
like
podcast.
what? Like this?
And he's jerking himself
I'm
off.
not actually.
He's
I'm
miming
not.
himself
I'm actually not doing
He's saying
that.
I'm not doing that as he's continuing to do it. He still hasn't stopped. Oh, and now he's pretending to throw it on me. Oh, and now he's pretending to throw water on me. That's good.
Oh no, Adam's bringing his water cup over to me. Don't dump it on my head.
Didn't do that. I can prove that
You're
I have it right here.
You're an asshole. You're such an... That's fake. You're an asshole. You know why people don't like you? Because I just pretended and you did it for real. That was actually all the semen that I just jerked off. I don't know how much there is to say about this movie, if I'm being honest.
Honestly, this is the least notes I've ever taken for a movie. Just because, like, usually the notes that I write down are, like, my reactions to moments and, like, payoffs for previous moments that were set up. But this is just, like, it's a lot of, like, setting something up and immediately addressing it, then moving to a new thing, and then doing that again.
I think we could take this angle. I don't think this movie or a movie like this has gotten made recently.
No.
There's a movie coming out.
If it has, it's probably like a student film.
You know? There's a movie coming out either... I guess it's probably already out by the time people are hearing this. It might actually be out of theaters by the time you're hearing this. But there's this movie called Theater Camp. Have you heard about this?
After you told me about it, I
so it's got
looked
like
it up on IMDb and I learned a little bit more.
So it's got a lot of our favorites from Booksmart in it. Molly Gordon's in it. I'll figure out their like names, but like
the one who played George in Booksmart is also in it.
Is that the skinny theater guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I somehow found the short film. Why would I want to find the short film first? Oh, Ben Platt's in it. That's the other like big person I was kind of forgetting. Io Adibre's in it. She's in The Bear.
Okay.
And she's also in Bottoms, the next Emma Seligman movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
Owen Thiel is in it. He was also in Booksmart. Jimmy Tatro's in it. Noah Galvin's in it. Did you say Noah Galvin already? No.
Did he play George?
I don't know.
Let me look at your computer real quick.
Patty Harrison's in it. I think that actually might be the guy that played George. Let me click it. Yeah, that's the guy that played George.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it looks good.
And then this guy was in
He's also in Booksmart. Oh, was he not in Booksmart though?
I don't think he was. You're thinking of a different guy. They do look somewhat similar, but he's from I Think You Should Leave. He's the guy that hired Stable of Stars.
Oh, right.
He can't hit.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it looks good. And like it seems like it's got maybe a bit more of a grounded energy, I think. But a pretty similar energy. Like, they don't really make movies about summer camp anymore.
Yeah. Well, because I think summer camp's, like, truly just not much of a thing anymore.
Did you ever go to summer camp?
I went to summer camps,
but
I only ever went to one summer camp that was, like... Sleepover camp. And it was just for, like...
Oh, he's playing Pac-Man.
Getting a quick phone call.
From who?
My girlfriend.
Okay, I guess I can keep talking about summer camps.
I was just going to say I only went to one that was a sleepover camp, and it was only for one of the nights.
Okay, I'll tell everyone about my stories of summer camp. Adam, stop making out. Stop making out with her. Oh, stop kissing that girl.
Okay, I will this time for real.
I went to 2 sleepover camps. One of them was a hockey camp. I got horribly homesick.
Nice.
And then another was Muskoka Woods.
Well, can I ask you something about these camps?
Yeah.
Especially the one you got homesick for. Did you know anybody at the camp when you went? See, that's the issue.
Yeah.
The one camp that I went to that was a sleepover one, I didn't know anybody. So I also got homesick because I was like, who do I talk to? Especially since, like, most of the kids at the camp had gone there multiple years, so they all knew each other. Mm-hmm. That's the problem with summer camps. Anyway, continue.
And then I went to Muskoka Woods, which if you're from, like, if you're probably the same age as us, that's kind of like a camp you've probably heard of, I guess. I didn't like it at all. I also got pretty homesick there as well.
Nice.
I'm just like, and I went to some day camps too, because I think my parents were just trying to get rid of me.
Nice.
My uncle also owned a summer camp, day camp. Which I'm not a camp kid. They want you to yell so much. Like, they want you to cheer, they want you to dance, they want you to do all this shit. Like, I'm not really into doing that. I've never been into yelling and, like, singing and performing in that sort of way.
I do think that summer camp is like an extrovert's playground. Like, it's meant for extroverted kids.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're doing activities all day and you're coming up with a fun team cheer.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. It's like, I kind of just wanted to, like, I don't know, maybe play some, like, capture the flag, sit around the fire, and then
smoke a fucking doob.
Yeah. At age 9, I wanted to smoke a doob.
Yeah. Maybe make out with your 34-year-old counselor.
I will say, at that one camp that I went to that I didn't know anybody at, there was this kid named Ethan who went there, and, like, he had like a cat. He was much younger than me. I think when I went,
catchphrase. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah. So he I've never told you about this kid, but, like, I was probably, I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 12 or 13 maybe, but this kid was, like, genuinely, like, 7 or 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And he would always, his catchphrase was, "What the heck?"
Classic.
Which he would say it to everything. Mm-hmm. And, like he would be not participating in some, like, craft or activity or something. And a counselor would be like, "Ethan, come on, you can't just, like, sit in the corner. You've got to participate." And he'd be like, "What the heck? I don't want to. What the heck?" I think he just learned "what the heck" that summer, so he was using it all the time.
I like that.
And I remember I'd go home and tell my brother about it, and he was like, I don't think he didn't believe me, but he was just like, "That's
why?
This sounds weird. Why are you telling me this?" But then on the last night, or maybe the second last night, we had like a big campfire, and you could bring your family. And I invited my parents and brother, and my brother didn't want to come, but my parents dragged him. And then he was there, but then he had a good time because he asked which one was Ethan. I pointed him out, and he just watched Ethan the whole time, and he said "what the heck" a lot, and Matt found it very funny. So anyway, that's
Classic
my little
camp story.
That's my little camp story.
I have two things from my Muskoka Woods days. Number one, I dropped a metal water bottle on my counselor's head, or a counselor's head, by accident, because it was like a 2-story cabin.
Very nice.
And we pranked him by pouring water on him. They got him to come out of the cabin, and we poured water on him, and I let go of my bottle.
And it bonked him on the head?
Bonked him on the head, and I got in trouble, and I hid under the bed so he wouldn't
Very
find
nice.
me.
How old were you?
Maybe like 8 or 9.
Here's the thing. I guess like being like 7 to 9 years old, like you're becoming like a tween, like an older kid, but it's still kind of insane that parents would just like
maybe I was
send off their like 6-year-old to just like hang out with some people you don't know for a while. Like that's nuts.
Yeah. Another
Anyway.
thing, I was sent to camp with a custom pillowcase from my grandma that had my dog and then a picture of my mom on it.
Interesting.
And
That is prime bully target.
I put the pillowcase inside out.
Good call.
And my dad saw it when he picked me up, and he said, "Who gave you this?" And I said, "Mom." And he said, "Why did she do that?"
I mean, that is truly, if you don't mind me saying this, that is truly like a movie joke. Where like I could see that being in Wet Hot American Summer, where a kid has that, and like Paul Rudd bullies this kid for having that pillowcase.
But like I had the same reaction that you had when it started. When you see the kids running around and you're like, I kind of want to go to summer camp. Like
Yeah.
I now as a 20, this sounds weird, but if I could go back in time and like go to summer camp as a 12-year-old now, I feel like I'd have a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so like not into it because it's not like I was ever like, please let me go to summer camp.
Yeah.
And I was not the kind of kid who's like good in those situations where it's like you have to meet new people and make friends like quickly.
Yeah.
But then you're also not going to be friends with them by the end of the week because you're not going to talk ever again.
Yeah.
Like I'm not very like,
well, especially when we were kids, it's not like we could like exchange cell phone numbers or even like add each other on Instagram or something to keep in contact. It was kind of just like, well, bye. Like if you really wanted to see some of these summer camp kids again, you had to like get your parents to exchange information.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I didn't want to be the kid to be like, hey, you mind if I get your mom to talk to my mom? Because like, I don't know, that was just uncomfortable. So like, it was like a weird thing where it's like you had to commit if you wanted to have fun, but if you commit, then you like knew that you were gonna lose these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always was just like not into it. Summer camps. Howsy doozy. I was also like kind of a camp counselor for a little while, which I fucking sucked at because I'm not that guy. You know me pretty well. I don't think I'm a...
You know me pretty well. I'm best man at my wedding. You like know a thing or two.
Think of like, we have friends who are like camp counselor kind of people.
I mean, I feel, dude, that's... I'm about to say a pet peeve of mine. When people look at me and go, like... say that I'm great with kids, and it's like I feel like I can look at someone and know instantly whether they'd be like top camp counselor material or just like don't really vibe with like kids.
I don't think it's like you don't vibe with kids.
As soon as I said it, I was like, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But like,
but it's like camp counselors are like aliens.
well, they need to
Good
be like
camp counselors.
personable and likable
Yeah.
so that the kids like them, but also demand respect so that they can like
Yeah.
control the kids.
And also have some sort of limitless energy as well.
yeah.
Where it's like,
I feel like if I woke up one day at like a sleepaway summer camp as a camp counselor, I'd be like, it would be like day 2 and I'd be like, oh.
but you'd also like be making out with chicks.
No.
Because like,
is the
here's
thing.
another thing. Like I went to camp. I couldn't fathom it then, but that's like probably one of the more fun jobs you could have as a kid. Like if that's your kind of thing.
What, to be a camp counselor?
Yeah, because you leave home for 2 months
and you're like top dog.
and you hang out with your friends.
yeah.
And it's not like, unless you really fuck up, you're not going to get in trouble. Because
Yeah.
it's not like they can just hire a new counselor easily. So like,
I do feel like I mentioned it to you at the beginning when like it showed all the cabins and all the
Yeah.
kids running around and the camp counselors all like hanging out and talking. I was like, I kind of want that. And I think I wanted that as a kid too. Because like, I think I would see something like Harry Potter and be like, man, I want to go to Hogwarts. Just because the idea of like living in a dorm with your friends and then going and doing activities during the day, like that just sounds fun. But like, I just was never really able to have that. Like I went to my church's summer camp a couple times, but like I lived a 2-minute walk from the church.
yeah,
So like I'd just walk there. We'd do some like Bible crafts,
let's go.
and then
Put them
we'd
up
go
on the
home.
cross.
Yeah, but
Staple
it's
them
like
up there.
yeah, we only did Jesus on the cross crafts. But like I don't know, like I think I really wanted to do like a sleepaway camp type deal, but I think like it was probably a mix of things. Like I feel like my parents probably were
I
like,
just
that's
wasn't
really
confident enough in
expensive.
it. And then I feel
Yeah.
like to be that kid, you have to kind of go for like a month.
Yeah,
'Cause then you
I
get
feel
your
like you have to go for like a
bearings.
month and go every year.
Yeah. Because, like, if you're going for a week, you're kind of thrown off. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, I'm doing this for a week and then I go back to my regular life.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I'm here for a month, I'm going to meet all these people and, like, this is just like where I am now.
Yeah.
You know?
The thing is, too, I feel like I probably was more likely to go to a summer camp if I had any friends that went to summer camps. But I feel like most of my friends didn't, or if they did, it was, yeah, like a week thing.
Or like a day camp.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I just wish that I did something like this, you know?
Yeah.
Even I wish like that when I was a teenager that I like was a camp counselor with a couple friends somewhere. But I feel like that just like wasn't really
Just
on
wasn't
my
like a thing.
radar.
Yeah.
It was like I didn't know of any that I could do. And I wasn't really looking because I don't think I realized it was something that I would have liked.
Yeah.
But now looking back, I'm like, man, that would have been a blast.
Who do you think gives the best performance?
Gene.
I think Gene's very good.
Yeah.
I think Coop's also like pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty
I
good.
think Katie's probably the best of the counselors.
Yeah, she's very good. I think she, you know what, like as far as like actual like good acting, I think she's the best. But like comedic performance, I think Gene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only know Katie from the Mighty Ducks movies, which I think must have been like years.
She's in
before
the
this,
Mighty
but-
Ducks Game Changers show.
Yeah, for like I think they make a couple of the old cast make a cameo or two.
Emilio Estevez is in it a lot, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, Charlie Sheen's brother.
I know.
Weird. Who would you pick to be your lover, Coop or Paul Rudd? Paul Rudd. Coop's like the reasonable choice, but Paul Rudd, he's so sexy. I just want to fuck his brains out.
Sure.
Also, he looks the exact same.
Oh yeah, he
now.
looks the exact same as he does now.
psychotic.
Yeah.
I was gonna, you know what these Hollywood people are doing to keep themselves young. You've seen this stuff on the internet. You seen this on the internet, this stuff? What they're doing to keep themselves looking young? Have you seen it? Exercise.
That's ridiculous.
I know, it's stupid.
Well, and money also is kind of that helps a little bit, but
It's mostly like getting up and going for a run. And also getting paid 10 mil for Ant-Man and the Wasp with points on the back
But
end.
here's the thing, like Paul Rudd, it's not like Paul Rudd was aging and then he got Ant-Man and then he stopped. It's like he's just never really aged.
Yeah.
The only thing I think that has like gotten worse and then improved is maybe his hairline. Like I feel like 40-year-old virgin, his hairline was like a little worse than
I
it
want to
is
see
now,
the
but-
percentage of dudes in Hollywood who have plugs.
Oh, it's definitely a lot.
I like
Or like
that.
hair transplant of some kind, yeah. Is that
Yeah,
that's
what
different,
that's
right?
what I mean.
It's the same thing? All right.
Yeah. Adam Driver.
Ooh.
I think he could be an interesting Paul Rudd, but I think Paul Rudd's better than he would be. I think he could be an interesting Gene because he does have that sort of higher age comedy thing that he can do sometimes.
Honestly, I think I'd go Paul Rudd. I think he'd take it a different way. It would be less of like he's... Like Paul Rudd's very like... You can tell that he thinks
seems just
very
kind of
highly of
stupid.
himself, but is
Yeah.
kind of a loser.
Okay.
But like, I feel like Adam Driver would play it more as like... He's just a guy who truly just does not care. Mm-hmm. And I think that would be funny and interesting. So I guess I'd go the Paul Rudd role.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Gene. I feel like there's some sort of comedic intensity that he has that isn't tapped into very often. Also saw this headline today that said allegedly Adam Driver turned down the role of Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four movie after reading the script.
Oof.
Now, it's an alleged headline from a website called like
Comic book slasher or something.
Panel by Panel, We Live Daily.
Yeah. Or Geek Web.
Geekazoid number 2. First one got taken down by Al Qaeda.
Nerdzone.org.
Nerd Zone. Geek Lords.
Phantasm. Ooh.
Collider.
There you go.
There we go.
Dude, here's the thing. I feel the only reason I believe that headline could be true is because I feel like Adam Driver is someone to be like, yeah, I'd be interested in that. Never mind, it's bad.
Yeah, but he did 65.
Yeah, but I think he knew that was going to be bad going in and was like,
I think he also did it because his kid liked dinosaurs or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've told you.
But then he was like, this shit's too scary.
Yeah, he did an
Yeah.
interview with Seth Meyers where he was like, I made it for my kid, and then halfway through was like, no, it's spooky. He can't watch this. So,
Yeah.
he made Star Wars. His kid can watch that.
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. This Fantastic Four movie is very interesting to me. But we can talk about that.
The
another
odds are
time.
stacked against it.
Maybe we'll
There's
do a Fantastic Four month. There is 4 of them. Where do we want to rank this puppy?
That's an excellent question, Calder.
Interesting way to say my name, you bigot.
Thanks, pal.
No problem.
I'll be honest. I'm not thinking I want to put this super high.
I think it's a lower middle pack movie.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I think if we put it around 10 Things I Hate About You, that's good.
Would you be okay putting it just below 10 Things I Hate About You?
I am good with that. Like, because I think it's about there.
Do you think it's better than Wedding Crashers?
I think it's a lot shorter, and there's a
That's fair.
lot less of the bullshit at the end. And like, there is some questionable joke stuff. Like they say the gay F slur
Fair.
like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But it's not as like violently homophobic, because also the payoff to that joke is them being like,
Them
we got you a
supporting
wedding
him.
present.
Yeah. I do feel like it in most movies that have like most old comedies that use the F slur,
Yeah.
it's like, oh wow, they're like that's the joke.
Yeah.
It's like very clearly they thought that was funny at the time and it's not aged well. This feels more like they're making fun of the people who do that. Still using it, but like at the very least, this is like it's making fun of them for saying that, and then it's to build up them being like, oh wow, they're gonna like say or do something super homophobic because they're upset, and then they actually just like buy their friends like a wedding present. Yeah, and it's like kind of nice. So it didn't age great, or I guess like using the F slur, I think
that doesn't
as
age
like not
great.
Gay people is like questionable. But as far as like using it in films goes, I think it's aged okay because it's like this isn't a homophobic movie. Like
no,
I don't think it's very supportive
malicious.
of it, if anything.
Yeah.
So
it's not a malicious movie in really any way, which is kind of nice.
What are your thoughts on putting it below or above the Batman?
I think you like the White Rastas a lot, and that's what's keeping you from putting
White Rastas?
They're in 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, right.
I think that's what's keeping you from putting it above.
Disagree, but
I would like it, I think, below the Batman, actually.
Okay, because that's what I was kind of thinking. I'm fine putting it above Wedding Crashers.
Because I think the Batman is a much better movie. Much more well-made. I don't know how that is below 10 Things I Hate About You, thinking about it now, but...
I mean, I think both of the Batman and 10 Things I Hate About You should be moved up a bit.
We'll do a reshuffle in another year and a half.
We'll do it at some point.
When we're deep inside of our Lars von Trier miniseries next year. Thin Red Line, anyone? I don't know if he did that movie. I think that was someone else. Wow, I'm a real film guy. I don't even know what the fucking Lars von
You are a
Trier
film guy.
does.
All right, so if that is the case, then Wet Hot American Summer is sitting at 26 on our list, right above Wedding Crashers and right below The Batman. That feels right to me.
Wow.
That feels fine.
What a sexy episode this one has been. It has been wet and it has been hot. This room has really heated up.
And it is the summer. The only thing it's not is American.
But it will be soon.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Trump, take over. Take over the presidency, then invade Canada. Please, please. I want this to be a melting pot, too.
I just blacked out. What just happened?
I think you got trumped.
Goodness me, that was painful. It hurt me. I don't know what happened, but I blacked out, and I'm physically in pain.
Can I ask you a question, then we'll cut this right off? Trump declares war on Canada. Are you fighting in it?
For who?
For Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, well, I think I'm like a very anti-war, but if like... Also, Trump's not declaring... He doesn't have any power.
Yeah, but
he's going to fucking jail soon, probably.
Dude, I'm scared he's going to win again.
I don't think he does. But here's the thing.
You know what they're
People
doing?
said that last time.
You know what they're doing to stay young in Hollywood, though? You know what they're doing to stay young in Hollywood?
Wasn't there a thing where people were like injecting baby foreskin into their faces and it was like making them look younger?
This guy sounds like a fucking QAnon. I was going to say exercise again.
No, I'm pretty sure that truly someone went on Ellen DeGeneres.
It was Sandra Bullock. She was like,
Okay.
she uses baby foreskin cream or something.
Weird, man.
And now I think there's like something in QAnon where they're like the Pizzagate thing.
Yeah.
That was...
Oh, wait, that's actually like a QAnon thing now?
Yeah, it's been a QAnon thing where
That's
they think
nuts.
that celebrities and politicians are killing children.
Oh, killing. Oh, okay.
And
well,
like
there you
using
go.
a special thing like adrenochrome. They take it out of the kids and then they use it to stay alive forever.
I would just like to point one thing out. We've covered all the bases of Wet Hot American Summer except for the American part. As soon as we started to do an American part, we've talked about Trump declaring war on Canada and QAnon baby killing conspiracies.
Dude, it's a fucking cesspool down there.
Yeah. No offense, guys. But
8% of our listeners.
Yikes. Next week is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. That's my other pick for the month.
Old.
Looking forward to it, though.
British.
I haven't seen it in a while.
The only British movie that we're doing this month.
Only British movie that we're doing.
Because I don't really like their sense of humor because they tried to take over our country. And I guess you're more of a sympathizer with the Queen, or I guess King now, because she croaked. But we'll see how that one goes next week. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you listening. If you could give us a follow and rate our podcast on whatever app you use.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we haven't said this in 10 episodes.
Yeah,
but
maybe tell a friend or two, or maybe even, I know this might be pushing it, but maybe 3.
And if you want to go even further, take out a cashier's check. Just put an infinite symbol behind the number sign and just give it to me, and I'll see what I can do with that.
Yeah.
Because I'd like your money.
And I don't have Venmo, but maybe I'll set it up.
I don't think we can.
Just e-transfer me.
Yeah. Give them your email.
Yeah.
Give them your personal email and your phone number.
I don't want to be picky about it, but preferably amounts larger than $150. I'm just
and maybe larger than 2,000 if we could.
Yeah. Yeah. We just
careful with the desk.
It just doesn't really. It doesn't really look good in a bank account if it's a lower amount. I just
it's gotta be value on my end or no fucking deal. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.